Welcome to the Becoming Podcast. My name's Nick Slater, joined by my girlfriend and co-host Zoe Markel.
Hello.
You may have noticed a change of scenery. We are filming today on the beautiful Gold Coast. We're here for Christmas and thankfully in quite an aesthetic Airbnb.
Yeah, it's so pretty and the water is literally just outside our balcony. So
Stone's throw that way.
So nice.
Started today with a cheeky swim.
And the water is so much warmer up here than Sydney. I could actually stay in for longer than 10 minutes.
Yeah, I'm interested in what are your well, you've been here before, but what are your impressions of the Gold Coast?
Just so much of a slower vibe, more relaxed. We just walked to the shop and back for coffee and I think 3 people said hello to us. How are you? And I was like, what?
Yeah, it catches you off guard.
It
catches you off guard a little bit because in Sydney, no one says hello on their morning walk. But locals here just lock you in the eyes and say, morning, how you going? And it's so lovely.
Yeah, it's really nice. Obviously warmer, just feels like there's a bit more space here.
You notice the change of pace immediately.
Yeah.
It's like you sometimes in Sydney you don't quite notice, but there is such a busy, rushing energy. And when you get out of it, it's the first thing you notice here. It's like, oh, I feel like I'm just breathing out a little bit more.
Yeah.
I think if you lived here, that would just make such a difference to your stress level.
Yeah, I already feel chilled. We've been here not even 24 hours.
You seem chilled. I like your beach aesthetic here.
Yeah, it was this sort of post-swim, haven't had time to do my hair, chuck a cap on look.
I love it.
We'll roll with it.
You also mentioned about half an hour ago that you have a newfound love for me, which is part offensive, but also quite lovely. Is that something to do with the GC? Where's that coming from?
I think, I just feel a lot more relaxed here and it's probably because I'm near ovulating, so I'm just in a generally better mood.
Oh, okay. I'll take that. You got to take the hormonal wins where you can.
You do.
So how are you feeling, babe? We're at the end of the year. It's such a hectic, silly season with many a Christmas party.
Yeah.
How's your general feeling?
Feeling exhausted. I think, especially with the role I work in, anything to do with sales at the end of the year, it's always about client lunches, Christmas party, schmoozing, and I just feel like I've been on a bit of a hamster wheel and I'm so ready for this 2 weeks just to chill, get back to myself, detox, just slow down a bit.
What was your biggest learnings out of the silly season?
I'm such a people pleaser and to stop saying yes to everything and then realise when it comes to it, you don't want to go to all these different things. So I think be selective with where I put my energy and how much I'm drinking and those sorts of things.
Do you feel like you just overextend a little bit?
Yeah. Mix of FOMO and I think, living in the eastern suburbs where there's something on every weekend and I do get FOMO. So I think for me, it's just realising that these things will always happen. They'll always be there. I can miss one weekend and things will still be okay. I'll still have friends. And what about you? Coming up to the year end, how have you been feeling?
I really love the end of the year. I feel like I got so much clarity with work and I was going out less and focusing more on health and getting up early. What really helped for me is, do you remember a couple of months ago, I decided to start getting up at 5 a.m. and doing writing. So I really love, my brain's more active in the morning. So I love waking up early and starting work then. It's because when you do that, I'm able to do my writing and I'm working on this program at the moment, the Becoming Magnetic and Dating. And I really found the only time I can do deep work on that is if I carve out time at the beginning of the day. And it means that you get to 9 a.m. and you feel like you've accomplished so much already. Yeah. So that was really, and not only that, but it gives you confidence with everything else in your life because you're like, okay, I've done my purposeful goal. I feel like I'm moving the needle with work. And then you knock that over by 9 a.m. So then the rest of the day you're moving through with this great sense of satisfaction. Yeah,
and there's something about waking up and getting stuff done before the rest of the world's woken up. Like you just almost feel like you're getting ahead of the day because people haven't even arisen yet and you've ticked off 3 things on your to-do list.
Yeah.
I think for me, when I get a bit overwhelmed, waking up at 5 or 6 and having those hours before work to do things then doesn't carry over the day with me and I can just sort of go to work and know that that's all completed.
Yeah. Speaking on behalf of men, I think it's a great feeling because you feel like you're really living with purpose. Men like to achieve things and and feel like they're moving the needle. And for me, that was a great way to do it. So I would recommend, if any men are feeling like they're in a rut or they want to start the new year with a bit more energy, try waking up a bit earlier. Maybe it's even just half an hour early to start, but you just get so much confidence when you set the alarm, when you get up and you get a jump start on the rest of society.
Yeah. And what about the old cold showers? And they're not just cold, they're like Arctic. Do you remember when I went to have a go and I screamed?
Yeah, I'm massive advocate for the cold shower. There's something about just doing something hard first thing. It just gives you confidence and that sense of satisfaction. So I chucked Zoe in there one morning and you acted like I chucked you in boiling hot water.
It was horrible.
Like, it hurts.
It did hurt.
Bit dramatic.
Stand by that.
This podcast is really exciting me. I love that we're doing it together.
Yeah.
It's just cool having that shared goal that we've been chipping away at.
Yeah. It also feels like, for me anyway, because you've been doing it a while, but I'm feeling more relaxed, and not that I was nervous per se, but it was such a new world for me that I was a bit self-critical and on edge, and now I can really enjoy it and relax. So that's good.
And do you feel like you're getting enough evidence to say that you're doing a good job?
Yeah, well, some of the feedback we've had has been amazing, especially from close friends, which, I don't think they realise how much it really does mean. So,
well, all the comments are for Zoe. So
No,
all the
not.
comments are more Zoe. Oh, I love Zoe, which I completely understand.
No.
But I'm a little bit offended by that. I feel like we've got such an exciting 2025. Do you feel like 2025 has a sense of optimism about it?
I do feel really excited going into next year, and I haven't had that in a while. So, and we've got a big...
We are going to Costa Rica. Mexico and Costa Rica.
For my lovely friend Erica and Dalton's wedding in Mexico. And then we are hopping on to Costa Rica on the end, aren't we, to try something new.
Which I'm excited about because apparently there's just sloths hanging out everywhere.
And he reminds me of a sloth. So
in Australia, we have koalas sometimes. You know, you might go to a resort and there's the resident koala and the nature out the back.
Yeah.
But in Costa Rica, they have a resident sloth.
And leatherback turtles, those like ginormous things.
It seems like it's got a bit of a Bali vibe to it, the place.
Yeah, lots of yoga retreats. I'm excited.
Health focus, very immersed into nature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's safe.
I think it'll be safe. Well, if you're with me.
Doesn't fill me with confidence. You're a troublemaker.
A troublemaker? Because all those street fights I get into.
Yeah.
When you've got these weapons, it's really hard to keep them.
Someone turn him off.
So maybe we should talk about New Year's resolutions into 2025.
Yeah. I can go first because mine is the same as last year, embarrassingly. So it's going to be to stop vaping again. And I don't vape a lot. I only vape occasionally.
Oh, sorry.
I don't vape sober. That's not a lie.
That's true.
So I only vape when I drink. So it's a social thing, which is even more annoying because it's so pointless. But we quit in the middle of the year, and then slowly towards silly season, it just crept back in. And I was talking to Sammy and Bex and Al actually about this, and they said the same thing. They've started in the last 2 months, and I just think it's the time of year coming into summer. There's loads of events, and you see one person with it, and you're like, oh, great idea. And
that's what I was going to say. Do you think if you went out and nobody was vaping, you would be less tempted to do it?
100%. I think it's, what's the word when you, like a visual thing?
Yeah.
And because I'm not addicted, because I don't need nicotine. It's just, for me, it goes hand in hand with the drink, which means it's even more pointless. So I've downloaded the app Ready. I'm going to really give it my all. We both said they want to prioritise our health in 2025. So for me, that's where it starts. So number 1, quit vaping. Number 2, make more time for me and stop overexerting and people pleasing. So whether that's a mixture of setting boundaries or just not saying yes to everything, trying to find some sort of middle ground there so that I have time for me again, because that's what I struggled with towards the end of the year and just meant I felt burnt out a lot quicker.
Yeah. I think it's hard for girls as well too, because you're such social people.
Creatures.
Yeah, it's hard to carve out time just for yourself.
Yeah.
Especially you've got work, you've got it 9 to 5, and at night time we make dinner and we prioritize that so we can get to bed at a reasonable hour.
Yeah.
So there's really not much time, not much availability for you to carve out time for just yourself.
Yeah. So whether that's a walk in the mornings before work with a podcast, just solo, or I don't know, coming home and reading on the balcony. But then I always want to talk to you. So I don't know, it's hard, but I'm going to make sure I find balance.
Yeah, good one, babe.
And over to you.
See, this is my goal for 2025. I want to stop relying on external things to feel enough. And it's something that I'm sure a lot of people can relate to. Maybe you pull up the vape, you pull out a drink, or maybe some people do it with food, where you're doing it to just fill a void inside of yourself. And we've gone pretty deep here, but for me, I do think like I had really good self-control with the vape, and when I meditate and when I'm feeling really balanced myself, I don't need anything else to feel complete. But towards the back end of the year, into silly season when things were getting a bit stressful and hectic, I did find myself grabbing the vape or grabbing a beer. Although actually I stopped drinking alcohol, so that's pretty good. But
yeah, you have done well.
Yeah, so the key for me next year is just to start the year stripping back those things, even coffee. I don't want to have to rely on coffee in the morning for that stimulation. I'd love to dive into work, not have to have coffee.
Yeah.
Not have to have...
That's one thing I'm proud of, actually. Doesn't drink coffee.
Doesn't drink coffee and has so much energy, which I love.
Yeah, well, I probably put that down to sleeping like a log.
I think there's something in that, though, because some of the most energetic people I've met don't drink coffee.
Really?
Yeah, I feel like coffee might just dull our energy over time.
Maybe.
And people need it to get back to the...
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm going to start that. Actually, the Corrective Culture Boys, who we talk about a bit on this podcast, they do a cleanse at the start of every year. And basically it's stripping back everything and only eating organic veg and meat. And yeah, stopping coffee, stopping drinking. And the idea originally was that it was a parasite cleanse.
I was going to say, is that where you get like worms and stuff coming out of you?
So you can also do it with this product which extracts parasites from your body. So if people do their cleanse, they notice that sometimes tapeworms or other worms come out of their body, liver flukes and all these nasty parasites.
I'd actually be keen to do it just to see if anything does come out.
It'd be super interesting to do. But I think if you do that cleanse for a month, that's probably the healthiest you're ever going to be.
Yeah. It's just, I know I'm already going back on myself here, but it's so hard that January here is the middle of summer. At home in the UK, it's so much easier because January is cold and wet and dark. So you can go to the gym, not go out. It's a lot easier. But here it's just like, there's always so much going on.
Totally, I agree. But I think if you did conquer it in that month,
I know,
then you can do it in any month.
Yeah,
so it'd be such a good win.
Throw ourselves in the deep end.
Yeah, so that's it for me. My one New Year's goal is just to strip back things a little bit, return to meditation, really nurture my nervous system so that it's feeling really calm and relaxed, and I'm not having to grab onto anything externally to fill me up.
Nice. They're kind of similar in the sense of doing things for ourselves.
Yeah, I guess maybe where our nervous systems are calling out to be nurtured a little bit.
I think so.
Because, I'm sure we are running around in flight or fight.
Yeah.
Fight or flight.
What did you say?
Fight or flight. at the end of the year.
Yeah.
And that's like last night you slept like a log.
Oh, that was that was probably the 10-hour drive, but... Yeah.
Well, you slept in the drive as well.
I just sleep on the drive.
Just the whole way. Which is, I think, when you come out of such a busy period, your body's just like, you need sleep, you need to rest.
I sometimes get sick at this time of year when I am go, then I stop. And it's almost my body then just sort of starts getting everything out, and I normally get sick. So fingers crossed, touch wood.
Yeah, well, that's the nervous system. So that means that you're in fight or flight, and you're running on adrenaline. So that when you stop that, your body gets sick because the adrenaline wears off.
Oh, really? Well, that makes sense. Shall we dive into some listener questions? There's some good ones.
Yes, let's do it. Put the little call out on the Instagram community page, The Becoming Village, for some questions. And we got some great ones, actually. Let's start with this. What is one thing you and Zoe have learned from each other this year?
Oh,
you can start.
Learned from you. Oh,
crickets.
It's probably I love to organise things, and to my own detriment sometimes. When we went to Europe, I had a Excel spreadsheet basically of every day broken into AM and PM, and you were like, Zoe, I can't do this. We need to be a bit spontaneous. And I was like, we need to make the most of every day. And I think over time you've really helped me lean into that, just sort of go with the flow a bit more, stop over planning. It's going to be okay. We can just pick up and go as the days come.
Relax into your feminine, baby.
Yeah. Well, I think organisation is feminine, but I think I was just a bit too control freaky.
Right.
Control freaky?
Freaky.
So freaky. I think I love that you've helped me be a bit more relaxed in that sense. I'll still always plan. I do love planning, but I won't plan out every hour of our trip in South America.
Yeah, no, I love your planning, and I think we've struck a pretty good balance now where, we've got the planning days, and I like to plan things as well, but leaving just a little bit of space for that magic spontaneous days where you might wander down the street and see a cafe you like, or and your day goes off into its own little story. Sorry.
And also think from the organisation, maybe I remember my mum always said I was bossy, and then once you said it and I was like, oh fuck, maybe I am bossy. So I think you've helped me relax in that aspect too. The organisation and bossiness come together, because I'm like, we need to do it my way, this way, and so now I'm a bit more chill. Yeah,
it's been a good learning for me too, because me and my friends do this as well. We'd leave the weekends pretty open, and then last minute be like, oh mate, do you want to go to the pub? Do you want to go have a game of golf? And while that's good sometimes, I think sometimes you do need a plan, especially when everyone starts having kids and you don't see people as much. Planning is essential, so you have those catch-ups. Yeah. For me, but the biggest thing I've learned from you, and it's more just about us collectively, is really that in relationships, I'm going deeper here again, but the relationship is really just a mirror of how you're feeling internally. So there have been times where I've been feeling low on myself. I've had low self-esteem. I've been crabby, and I'd project that onto the relationship, and then I'd feel a bit annoyed about something, and it was just 100% me projecting it. And the flip side is when I am happy and content, and I've noticed this in the last 6 weeks since waking up at 5 a.m. and having cold showers, that when I'm happy, I'm so much happier in the relationship, because you just mirror back how I'm feeling. And if you are having a relationship, if you're having a lull in your relationship, before anything, just try approaching it with more love. And most of the time I've found that love gets reflected back to you.
That's cute.
Okay, next question from our friend Mimi NYC. How do you prefer to handle conflicts or disagreements?
Ooh, good one. I think I speak for both of us when I say we just nip it in the bud then and there with communication. Doesn't always resolve it right away, but we'll never sort of brush something under the rug or leave the house in an argument. We'll just say, okay, let's sort this out. Let's get it all out. And I know when you say you're okay sometimes, and I know you're not, and Trevor, I'm like, come on, tell me that's not everything.
And credit to you, I love that about you, is that if I'm ever sulking about something, and I think that goes back to when I was a kid, I didn't learn how to express my emotions. So when that inner child of me behaves like a child and sulks, you're so good at coming up and going, come on, what's wrong? Let's get it out in the open. What is it?
Yeah. Well, I think actually on my side that comes from, I hate confrontation. So in my eyes, if you let something bubble up, it's going to explode, and you probably will have a full-blown fight. But if you can diffuse it early and really have open communication and understand how the other person's feeling and why, then you can try and sort it out earlier rather than it blowing up later.
Yeah, and 99% of the time it is something that you can quickly talk through.
Yeah.
I think we make it out to give it so much more energy than it needs.
Yeah.
When you talk it through, when you talk about a grievance or some mismatch in expectation, once you talk it out, it removes its power.
And don't get me wrong, we're not perfect. I'm quite stubborn, get that from my dad. So it doesn't necessarily mean that we never argue, we make up straight away, because, it might take a bit of work, but we get there. And I love that we never raise our voices either. Even in, some of the bigger fights, we still manage to stay quite level-headed. And I love that.
I think it'd be very strange if people didn't have any kind of conflict.
Yeah.
Probably indicate to me that they're suppressing it. So it's so normal in a relationship to have annoyances and grievances.
Yeah.
But the best thing you can do is just talk about it.
Yeah.
What's good about what I like that we do is we tease each other. So if it is like a superficial thing that we're pissed off about.
Yeah.
For example, something stupid like wiping down the bench.
Yeah.
Instead of holding on to that for a week and like building resentment with your partner, just try and bring it up in a funny way. Not a passive aggressive way, but just a funny way. Like
just make them laugh.
Yeah.
I always go, when you're trying to be like stubborn and sulky and you can make the other person laugh, there's no easier way to get over a fight than if they start cracking up laughing.
Yeah, how many arguments have we had where we're looking at each other, then one person starts smiling,
the corners of the mouth go off and you're like, no, I'm angry.
We start laughing. But part of that is you need to not take yourself too seriously.
Yeah.
Leave your ego out of it and try and laugh. And at the end of the day, it's just a stupid argument. You love your person and get over it.
Yeah. And never go to bed in a fight.
That's a huge one. Because we've done that, once or twice, and you wake up the next morning with a heaviness because you're carrying that energy the whole time you're sleeping. Mm-hmm. It sits on your subconscious. Never go to sleep on a fight. Okay, next question. How do you balance your hobbies and personal interests with quality time in a long-term relationship while keeping things fun and exciting? It's really important that you both maintain independence, and one of the ways to do that is with hobbies and interests. So make sure you make that a priority for you. For me, it's going to the gym, it's surfing or golf. Make sure you're always doing those things, and your partner's always going to understand that that's important for you. So make your hobbies and interests a priority, but also fully support your partner doing those as well.
I play netball on a Tuesday. Me and the girls get coffee every Friday morning. And it's so important to have friend time with your partner, but also time for yourself. It's sort of the 3 pillars, and you need to find that balance.
Have you ever found it difficult to maintain the balance?
Yeah, definitely, especially in, the times like now, especially now in silly season. I think the going out with friends and work can overtake time for yourself and probably time for you as well, because I know the last week I probably drank 4 out of 5 days and you were just at home on your own, and I felt terrible. So it's not just being at home together cooking or watching TV, it's carving out time where you're really talking.
For me, quality time is also about making each other a priority and just feeling like you're being put first, I think. So it doesn't need to be a big gesture, just something that the other person is putting you ahead of everything else.
Yeah. Feeling special.
Yeah, feeling special. That's what it's all about. Okay, next question. What's something you find disappointing about Bondi culture and how you can help change it?
Ooh.
That's a good one.
We've spoken about this before. It's for girls, I feel like it's so competitive, and like we said earlier about walking down the street here and everyone saying hi. If I'm on the coastal walk and I like smile at girls or even just look at someone to catch eye contact with, they'll get near you and just start looking down or looking away or acting like you're invisible. And I'm like, why can't we just say hi? Why is there like this weird competition, or like I can't acknowledge you because I'm better than you? Or
it's hilarious.
It's really
we'll be
weird.
Walking and I see the girls coming towards you, and I can see their eyes just look you up and down to see what you're wearing, see what active wear you're wearing.
It's so about, your appearance, what you're wearing, like what you're doing. And sometimes I just wish it was more, I don't know the word, maybe just like friendly and laid back.
Yeah.
There's a bit of a...
less materialistic.
Yeah.
That's what we've noticed coming here, just people saying good morning.
Yeah.
And then you just get the sense it's not pretentious.
Yeah, pretentious, that's what I was going with.
Yeah. That is the thing. I would agree with that with Bondi. It hasn't always been like this fancy, pretentious place. It has, it's had quite a working class background, and it only seems like in the last 10 years where that's become amplified as the more gentrified it gets, the more fancy it gets. And I would say it's more for girls, like that very pretentious, competitive thing where everyone's kind of playing status games.
Yeah.
It's about what car you're driving, what clothes you're wearing. So, I definitely try and tap out of that. It might be a bit more difficult for girls. Yeah,
I think it's just harder for girls with self-esteem and confidence when, we have to worry a bit more about our bodies and what type of the month it is. And you walk down to the beach and there's all these young girls in skimpy bikinis and they're skinny and they've got amazing bodies, and it just makes you feel like crap if you're having a bad day already. And that's not necessarily anyone's fault, but I think it's just the kind of culture it's created.
Yeah, the flip side of that is it's very healthy and fit. So
lots of love.
You're surrounded by healthy people with similar values around health and exercise.
Yeah.
But the dark side of that is that competitiveness. Comparison's the thief of joy as well. If you're just subconsciously comparing yourself to younger, hotter people.
Yeah, and maybe that's something I need to work on, is not doing that. So probably a bit of both, but that's what I've noticed recently.
I feel like the older I get, I just don't care about status or being seen. Even though I've got a signature smoothie on sale at the moment at Glory Days, I just I don't care about like the status game.
Yeah.
Do you remember we ran into our friend Cooper Chapman?
Yes.
And he was saying he's moved up to the Gold Coast. Comparing Sydney to the Goldie, he was saying that the Gold Coast feels more collaborative, whereas Sydney is more competitive.
Yeah, I really liked that comparison because I can feel it straight away being up here.
There's something I love about just walking down to the beach and being completely anonymous.
Yeah.
That sounds super wanky, but you know what I mean? Like, I think because the eastern beaches are so busy, you feel so seen, whereas you come down to the Gold Coast, there's no one around and you just get this sense of privacy.
Yeah, I loved that. Like, the beach is obviously opposite and we just hopped down today and I didn't care what I was wearing, shoved on a bikini, grabbed a towel, no makeup, just went for a swim and there was nobody around us. And I was like, oh, this is what is making me feel alive again.
Because you're more connected to nature.
Yeah.
You're not dividing nature with 10,000 people.
Yeah, with someone blasting rap on their boombox behind me when I'm trying to meditate on the beach.
These damn kids with their rap music.
I'm so old.
You're such a boomer. I love it when you turn full boomer.
Look, I'm an old soul.
Zoe, the tech allergic boomer over here. But we've got you onto the Whoop.
Yeah, it's on charge. I have been wearing it religiously.
It's incredible how well Zoe sleeps. She could sleep for England.
It's quite impressive, actually.
So I'm racking up like 70% sleep recovery on Whoop. Zoe's first go, 100%.
My whole week, actually, was 100%.
Second night, 100%.
What stress.
And that's no easy feat. People try for those 100% and they're elusive, but you just knocked it out of the park straight away.
The only time I don't sleep well is when you're away from home. So if I'm sleeping solo, because I'm scared of the dark and I always think someone's breaking in. So maybe you should go away and we should do a test and see what it comes back with, because I swear I don't sleep.
Really?
Yeah.
Because you don't feel as safe.
Nope. I think I've just watched too many horror films and true crime documentaries. I'm always certain someone's coming in.
Do you run through what would happen if they do get in?
Yeah, and I've thought about, would I jump from the balcony? Would I make that jump? Do I take a knife to bed? I'm like, this is getting ridiculous.
Didn't you imagine that they'd creep over the balcony with a ladder last time?
Yep, so I had to lock Oscar's litter trays on that balcony, and I just thought I'd rather pick up his poo in the morning, wherever it may be, than risk them jumping up the ladder. It's got a bit far. Very
hard to sleep when you've got those scenarios going through your head.
I feel like the episode of Friends where Monica's hair is growing with the humidity. It's getting bigger and bigger.
I like it. It's got a little surfy girl look to it. Okay, last question from Jackie. Okay, but when are you having mini Barbie and Kens? Babies. Don't you start, Jackie. Jeez, another one? No, I'm very excited. I can't wait for that next stage of life. I don't know, just the last year or so I felt quite ready. I guess the only thing that I'm scared to give up is the freedom of travel without kids. Yeah,
we can travel with kids.
Yeah, I guess it just look a little bit different.
Yeah.
You see some parents who just seem to have mastered it with kids, and others who kind of stay home a little bit more.
I know, it's easy to say when we don't have them, but I really do. I don't want our lives to change from having a baby. I want the baby to come into our lives and, just take them wherever we go and not have to sacrifice things. Because I think selfishly, that's the one thing I'm most scared of, is like losing my identity and like our life that we have. But it will be a new life.
Because you see those families have kids who are so chilled, they can fly, they don't seem to cry, and they're such easy kids.
Can be around adults at a table and they're fine.
Do you reckon that's the kids just genetically lottery, or the parents who have chillers themselves and they've conditioned them that way?
Definitely environment. It's how you're brought up, I think. We'll strive to be them. Hopefully my bossiness and organisation won't get the better of me.
We need a bit of that, but yeah, I think I'm excited for maybe 2025. To answer your question, Jackie, maybe next year sometime we might try and try.
Maybe. Stay tuned.
Little Gold Coast surf baby.
Yeah, although you like the weirdest names.
Okay, so what do you think of my names? Short list: Mark, Number 2, Gary. Number 3, Sharon.
There's nothing to even say.
I just think, we've gone too far left with our names. They've gone too fruity. We need to bring them back a little bit, something more traditional. And what's more, regal than a little kid called Mark? What's his name, Zoe?
What, Mark-L?
Will he have your name?
This is the other debate, guys.
TBC.
Do we do the old double barrel? Well, if anyone's listening from the UK, they'll know who Zoe Slater is. She was a character on EastEnders, which is like a sitcom. And she was a chav, basically. So I just always think of that name.
Really?
Yeah.
Zoe Slater.
I have to get a photo up. So look, TBC.
What I'm fascinated by, and I've asked a lot of my friends this, is that when you have a kid, you're suddenly not working just for yourself. Your projects, your passions, and your purpose in life is driven by the child.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited for that as well. I think, what was that?
Sounds like someone choking.
Our sink just choked. Yeah, I'm really excited for that stage where getting out of bed in the morning with an extra pep in my step, because suddenly I've got this little human that I need to take care of.
I know what you mean. It's also kind of exciting, like what they're going to look like.
Well, I'm hoping they get your athleticism.
I'm hoping they don't get your farts.
That is all the questions, my friend. And this was the last episode for 2024.
Yeah, crazy.
We'll be back next year. Really excited to bring out the Become Magnetic in Dating program. This is what I've been chipping away at every morning at 5 a.m. And it's genuinely, I think, so helpful. It's what Zoe and I worked on when we were single, to be able to stop dating and chasing and looking for someone to complete your life, but to find that wholeness within yourself, so that you attract people who want to get in on it.
And then they will come to you.
This is the secret with dating. As soon as you are really happy being single, that's when you'll attract someone.
It's always the way, guys.
And that's kind of the essence of this guide. So really, really excited to bring that out.
Yeah.
Looking at the 2nd week or 3rd week of January.
Yep.
So keep an eye on the socials, and I'll keep you in the loop.
Ooh, done about a sleazy wink.
That was
probably putting people off.
That was so sleazy. Well, babe, I reckon we go jump in the water.
I think so.
Thanks for hanging out, guys. That was heaps of fun.
And everyone have a great Christmas and New Year.
Merry Christmas.
Let's go.
Let's go for a swim.
Okay.
I love you.
Love you.